And I am honored to introduce and bring Kellie Wilbanks. For many of you, Kellie is no stranger. You've known her over the years. She has been a part of Saba off and on for several years. And I don't know if anyone that understands the Saba Back Office better than she does and explaining it to people. So as a special guest and as a special favor, she has agreed to join us tonight and share some of that expertise and some of that knowledge, even with some Q&A. So my honor to say hello to Kellie Wilbanks. Kellie, I will turn it over to you.
Oh, thank you, Gary. That's too sweet. And I mean, who would have thought in a million, guys, you guys would be rocking it at Saba and just blowing it out of the water and doing so many good things. So it's exciting to be here tonight to share with you a little bit about your back office and how to use that as a tool. And great job, girl, getting on the call today. I mean, brand new associate and showing a commitment. And that's the first steps, guys, in building your business, is taking that leap of faith, getting on calls like this, joining things like the Owensboro Mastermind. So you're going to be able to take a little bit of your knowledge tonight that you learn in your back office training and apply that in the upcoming weeks, so you can start setting the pace to hit the silver director like Angela was talking about earlier. One thing before I get started, guys, it is good that you know your back office. You have to know your back office. You've got to be comfortable with it. But if you're brand new, you don't have to know it to build your business. You can see Angela shaking her head when Angela came on to Saba, and I'm just going to pick on Angela because we were really tight when Angela started Saba selling ACE. And all I told her was, Angela, you just go sell and we'll figure it out. So if you have the momentum of getting your customers and reaching out to people, use your uplines like Angela used to. Gary can always reach out to me for questions. The biggest thing is to get this amazing product into people's hands. Don't worry about the tiny details. I promise it'll all work itself out. You don't have to know everything from day one, but it is good to familiarize yourself with your back office and what's going on. So I'm going to say a lot of things to people that they've heard me say before. I'm going to say a lot of things to some new people that you may be like, what in the world is this lady talking about? And it's okay if you don't understand everything right now. That's fine. You don't have to. Like I said, your most important thing is to get out and talk to people and share what the product is doing for you first and foremost. So let me share my screen here. And thank you to Joanne for allowing me to use your back office. I know some people are really skeptical if somebody says, hey, I'm going to use your back office to do a training. They're very touchy about that, but there's a lot of great information to be had to share with the group as we share. Basic information, of course, this is your homepage. For those of you, once you log in, you'll see the scrolling information data board here for people. And then there's a couple of key places that you want to familiarize yourself with immediately. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to understand. To read the graphic, top sales pool, that should be the very first thing that you're striving for when you get started. So Andrea, tonight's your night. You started just a few hours ago. You've got 5 days and 4 hours and 46 minutes to get yourself qualified for this top sales pool, and your back office is going to show you exactly what you need to do. It's going to tell you to get active with your personal monthly qualifying volume, which hopefully you've already done by your purchase. Enroll 5 new promoters or preferred customers. These will color and red. Once you hit that, and it'll give you the green check mark to show you've qualified, and then you have to have the 500 points or 500 QV from the enrollment kit. So this green checks is good thing. So good job, Joanne. That means you're qualified for the top sales pool. I will show you real quick what it looks like if if you're not qualified, not picking on somebody, some people are waiting till the last minute to get some things in. So let me pull this up real quick and we'll look at what it looks like if maybe you haven't quite hit the mark yet, just so you can see the difference in a qualified person and an unqualified. So we're going to pop this up, see how you have the green check marks here. It means you're active, you have your personal qualifying volume, and you're missing 4 enrollments, and you're missing 400 points or 400 QVs. So this is what it's going to look like should you not be qualified for the top sales pool. So like I said, you don't have to know anything in order to see if you're qualified. It does it for you. You simply look at that graphic and that tells you your first number 1 goal, if you're qualified or not. The second goal that you should be striving for is your promotion or your PIN levels that you talk about. This graphic is going to track that for you. So this particular person is 87% towards being silver director. So it's giving you the green check marks again for what you need to do to qualify. And then it's telling you the only thing that's left to do is your pay leg qualifying volume. So while we're talking about qualifying volume, for those of you that may not know, qualifying volume is coming from everything that you order in Saba has qualifying volume. Your enrollment kits have qualifying volume. Your auto ships will have some type of qualifying volume, but they also have commissionable volume. Qualifying volume is the things that you're driving for your PIN level promotions. So when you're trying to hit silver director, gold director, platinum, it's going off of your qualifying volume only. Your commissionable volume, or your CV, as people will talk about, is your 10% pay side check. So we'll talk about that a little more later on. When you enroll someone in Saba, you have three days. It's technically 72 hours to the minute to be able to move them to any position that you would like on your tree. They're going to default based on your placement preferences that you have set for your back office. So it could go to your pay side all the time. It could go to your left side, to your right side, whatever you have that set as. Your people will automatically go there, but you will have 72 hours to move them. So to get to see what's in your waiting room, you will click on the drop down arrow here on the right hand side of your back office, and you would click account. And then over here on the left hand side, you'll see placement preference. That's where you would set your preferences for how you want your enrollments to go in. And then you see the word waiting room. These are the people that have been recently enrolled that you are waiting to place. If you're not happy or you don't like where they're placed in your tree, this is where you can move them. This will tell you how many days you have left to move them. So this would be the last day for Joanne to be able to find a new home for these particular people if she wants to see them go. And it's as simple as clicking the move button, and then you can tell it where you want it to go from there. So this is moving. This is where you would sign up for HyperWallet, which is how you get your commissions faster. That goes on to the HyperWallet or any commission run. So you find your basic account information here in that area. So we go back to the home page. So we've talked about the waiting room. Does anybody have any questions about the waiting room before I move on to the next thing? If you do, type some questions into the chat room and I will try to watch that, or Gary, let me know if somebody posts a question so I can check that and catch on, because there's a lot of things to cover today. Commissions run, does everybody know when your commission periods runs from to lock you in for the week? Just shake your head yes if you do. I see a few of you doing that. Your commission period starts on Saturday and it runs through Friday. So 12 a.m. Saturday to 11:59:59 on Friday is your entire commission period, and then it pays the following week, Wednesday if you're on direct deposit, and it can go in sooner if you're on the hyper wallet. So that is important to know what your pay week is. We talked about your resources to know about qualifying volume and commissionable volume, and what amount is for each of those items that you're going to purchase. So to find that information, you would go under the business folder here, click on the little drop down, and you're going to go to resource library. The resource library, Saba has set this up so you have many things and resources and tools and trainings that you can use to grow your business. So as Gary's recording this training, he can put this out in your back office under the training section, and this one here that says training, and you can go back and rewatch this, or maybe prior trainings that you have. Here's one that says social media materials. These are things that you can copy to use on your social media, so you're not trying to recreate graphics or anything like that. Recent promotions that are going on. Maybe they're running a special contest at Saba for you to hit to win a trip. I saw that you could win your accommodations for the Owensboro event coming up. So something like that would be in there. Your newest resources are going to be the latest things that they have added to your back office. If you want to look at enrollment kits, what CV and QV are in enrollment kits, you would click there. And I am understanding that this has been updated today, the enrollment kits section here. So it has all of your brand new enrollment kits on it. So you can see all the qualifying volume for each and every one of the kits, what pays to the enroller. So we talk about fast start bonuses here in Saba. So a fast start bonus is only something that you earn when you enroll a new person. So the enroller can earn a fast start bonus, and sometimes the enroller's enroller can get a piece of that. The enrollers, and the enrollers. So it gets really confusing, but they put things here for you. So you can get an enroller bonus off of the kit, an enroller bonus. So it's helping you to build your team. So you can find all of this information here on the Slim Genix IQ kits, the Saba Ace kits, and it will tell you exactly what the contents are in those kits, the price of the kits, and then what the qualifying volume and the bonuses are for that. So that's the very first thing that you're doing every time that you're enrolling someone. If you are looking at the compensation plan and you want to know what it is for yourself, what are all the qualifications spelled out, not looking at the graphic on the homepage to become a silver director, here is the format for that. So if we scroll down to silver director, it's telling you $100 in personal qualifying volume, which means your auto ship or your purchases for the month, 10 personally enrolled active people. So they have to be active, which means they have to have placed an order. $2,500 PLQV. PLQV is pay leg qualifying volume. And then it starts telling you what you can earn as far as your fast start bonuses, which we talked about as your enrollment kit bonuses that you get for enrolling someone or someone on your team enrolling someone. You get 10% CV. That's the CV we were talking about earlier, the commissionable volume off of your pay leg. You get 4 generations of matching bonuses on both legs. That is an awesome benefit that you guys here have for Saba. A lot of people only pay strictly off of the pay leg when it comes to matching bonuses. Saba does not do that. They pay you off of both legs. So that is almost unheard of. So that may just fly right over your head, but you're going to want to lock that in because it's something that's really important down the line for you. And then the very first time that you hit silver director, for example, that we're talking about, you get $250 one-time cash bonus. So you can see all of the qualifications here for each of the levels, how to earn the top sales pool, many, many other things as far as promotions, incentives, and qualifications go. So that is a good place to be, the resource library for that area and for the promotions that are going on. One thing that I get asked a lot about, and one of the things that Gary was talking to me about, is this chart right here. This chart is your binary dashboard, and it's showing you information about your qualifying volume. So when we're talking about the qualifying volume, we talked about mostly it comes from your enrollment kits, but it also comes from your regular orders. Pay leg qualifying volume is really what matters to you when you're trying to hit a PIN level. You always want to look at this line right here that I just highlighted. That is your month to date pay leg qualifying volume. It's 955. Over here, you see it's 955 when it's talking about the PIN level qualification. So many people get a back office that looks like this. This left leg volume says 965. Your right leg volume says 1145, but yet your pay leg volume says 955. And everybody's like, how in the world does that happen? Why wouldn't my pay leg volume match one of my legs? Because I know my pay leg is my left leg. I absolutely know it 100%. So why does it match? Why does it not match? The reason it doesn't match is because, going back to what we talked about at the beginning of the call, the commission period running from Saturday to Friday throughout the month. Every week when your commission locks in on Friday night, when the commissions are run by the Saba home office, it locks you in for that week for your commissionable volume and for your qualifying volume. So it's going to calculate your commissionable volume on your left leg and your commissionable volume on your right leg, and the lesser leg is going to be your pay leg. So that locks you in. So if you have $100 in your left leg and you've got $50 in your right leg, then $50 is less than 100. So your right leg is going to be your pay leg. So whatever qualifying volume you have, that's what's going to start your monthly bucket, if you will, for your pay leg qualifying volume. How in the world do you keep up with this? And how do you know what's going on? You would find that under the reports tab. Click on that and click on the one that says carry forward volume. This does not happen to every person within Saba, but it does happen to a lot of people in the beginning. Your pay legs will switch back and forth because you're trying to build your team, and it just happens. And it's not a bad thing, but it always freaks people out when they see that, because they think something's wrong or they've done something wrong. You haven't done anything wrong, and it's perfectly normal for this to happen. And you didn't mess anything up, and you're still going to be loved by everyone in Saba land, and everything's going to be fantastic. And you're still going to grow a fantastic business, even if you don't understand anything that we're talking about tonight. But so that, just relax, take a deep breath. This is no big deal if this has happened to you like it's happened to Miss Joanne. So with the commissionable volume that we're talking about by week, you can see each week of your commissions or your pay period. So we're looking at commissionable volume when you're looking at this report. You're not looking at qualifying volume, because CV, your commissionable volume, is what determines your pay leg. The system calculates it for you, as you can see, left, 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 right, right, right. So you can see that Miss Joanne has had different pay legs within the month of September. Does everybody see that? I'm looking for shakes, so I know that we're all on the same page. Okay, so you're wondering, well, these are just a bunch of numbers. How do I know that this left really means that it's left? Like that the computer calculated this correctly? What you do to calculate this, if you want to be a math wizard and make sure that it's it's absolutely calculating right, you would add the two numbers together to get a total. So for the left side, you add the two left numbers together, and the right side, you add the two right numbers together. Is everybody with me? So let's just look at this 9/11, week 4, 9/11. This is the very first day of September, because when you're looking at this, it has to break that September 1st date off by itself, even though it's within a commission period, because remember, we're calculating by the month. So sometimes if 1 or 2 days is within a commission period, that's going to be a line of its own. So that's what happened here. So anything that happened on September 1st, whenever the company went out to run the commission report, it locks in what we're looking at September the 1st. So when it said that Joanne had 112 in the carry forward left for volume and 0 in the new CD left. It said she had 96.2 in the carry forward right and 0 in the new CD right. So if we add 112 plus 0, we get 112, right? So 112 is her total on the left leg. If we add 96.2 plus 0, we have 96.2 on the right leg. So we all know in our math that 96.2 is smaller than, less than 112, right? So that means her pay leg for that day or that portion of her commission period was her right leg. So what qualifying volume she had that particular day is now feeding over to that chart in that bucket that said 955. Okay, so I'm going to click over here. I'm going to show you again. Just to be safe, that's going to show up right here, the qualifying volume. It's not going to show the CD numbers that we were just looking at the report. It's just going to pull the qualifying volume from that and put it here. So maybe that was 10 for that day. I don't know what that number was that particular day, but that's what it's going to pull. So then the next week, 9/2 to 9/8, you would add the 112 plus the 174, add those together, which is 286. And then you would add the 96.2 plus 110, which is 216, let's say. So this is less than, so it's the right leg again. So the first week, the 9/11, whatever qualifying volume, say that was $10. So she had $10 already. This week, she had $250. So now we're up to $260. Okay? Because we're only grabbing qualifying volume from her right leg on these 2 weeks. Then Joanne got frisky and started doing some work over here on this other leg. May not have known, or maybe her customer heard about a massive weight loss story from someone, and they came in and placed an order over here on the right leg. So look at all those new orders that she had in CV on her right leg for that commission week. So as you can see, 136 is going to be more than 79.8 plus 28, because that's roughly 110. So it made her pay leg switch to her left leg. Is everybody still with me? So now she's going to add the right leg qualifying volume plus the right leg qualifying volume plus the left leg qualifying volume. So that is automatically how these numbers over here can't possibly match the one of the legs. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me make my screen a little bit bigger just real quick so I can make sure I'm seeing yeses. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions about that? Because it's super simple but super confusing all at the same time. So if you watch your carry forward volume report, Saba's going to report your numbers in real time. And it updates your back office on the hour with all of these stats. So you could look today and your pay leg could be your right leg, and you could look tomorrow and it could be your left leg, because there's activity continually going on through your current commissionable week. So this week that you're trying to qualify for your PIN level is the most important time for you to pay attention to this in the entire month. Because if your legs are running really tight or you're so close to a PIN level promotion, you've got to know how you're placing an order so you don't cause anything to flip your legs over. Again, I'm going to go back. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. If you're just doing enrollment kits, it does not matter. That will not flip your legs ever. And I don't mean an enrollment kit when you do an ACE enrollment kit and you add a Slim Genix. That's got commissionable volume. The Slim Genix is going to have CV to it. If it's just an ACE enrollment kit, that's not going to have CV. So everything that we went through on the integration isn't going to matter. So if you're running really tight, make sure you're doing enrollment kits at the end, because it's just going to be qualifying volume. You do a $400 kit, you're getting 400 QV, you add it to what's there on your pay leg, and boom, those numbers are going to match up. Does that make sense? If you're placing an order, it's going to have CV, and you're going to need to pay attention to that. And the resource library that we talked about earlier has the product information on it that'll show you the QV and the CV attached to everything. So you can outwit, if you want to sit and calculate, you can come up with exactly how much CV and exactly how much QV is going to be on each order that you place. So you can be very strategic in this if you would like. At the end, you need to place an order. I need so much CV, I need so much QV, and you're only going to do it by an order. You can absolutely calculate that yourself, and you can know if it is or is not going to make your leg flip. And what you would do is go back to the carry forward volume report. You would calculate whatever CV is on your order, and whatever numbers here before you place that order, your brand new order is going to come in your new CV line item. You cannot affect anything once it's closed. So this week is the only thing that you can change. And it's going to close out Friday night, the 29th, remember, at 11:59:59. So whatever you place for that day is going to be calculating these numbers. So you get down to the final time, and Joanne really needs her pay leg to be her right leg when this week closes. So she's going to watch her numbers. She's going to add the two numbers together, get a total, and then she's going to place an order on her left leg because she's wanting to force it to be the right leg, let's say. And she's going to add whatever CV for that order that she needs to surpass what's on the right side, because you're paid on the lesser leg when you're talking about your pay leg volume. So you would want to place an order that gives you greater volume on the left side if you want your right side to be your pay leg, or vice versa. Okay, so there's so many things to know about your back office, and this is one of the most confusing things, but it's also one of the easiest things to know as long as you watch this report and you pay attention to these graphics. These graphics are going to do all the work for you. They're not going to lie to you. They're not going to lead you astray. They're not going to tell you the wrong thing. As long as you are enrolling people with enrollment kits and doing the things that you need to do, you're not going to flip your legs, and it's not going to affect your volume. If you do something and you're on the current pay week and you see that it made your legs flip, get a hold of Gary at the home office and let him look at it and let him help work you through it before they close up the commissions and before your waiting room window is closed for your new person, because we can shift that to a new spot at Saba, and they can fix those things for you. So not all is lost when you're in this time frame and things get a little crazy. So Gary, I know I feel like I've talked a foreign language for a few minutes, and I'm seeing some glossy eyes a little bit. So I want to give everybody a minute to kind of soak that in, and you guys may have other questions that come up. So I want to be able to help you while I'm here and be a resource for you. I appreciate you listening to me ramble about everything confusing in your lives. But first and foremost, talk to people and share, and it'll all work itself out. No worries.
It will take care of itself if you just keep introducing people to the products and the opportunity. You're right, Kelly. And the biggest thing that Kelly said that I just wanted to kind of repeat again is, when a brand new person comes in, okay, honestly, most of what are they doing? They're enrolling new either preferred customers, or they're bringing in new promoters. And when they're doing that with a kit, okay, a starter kit. And the QV, as Kelly said, once your legs start growing and you look at which leg is your pay leg, that QV, those starter kits, and I want to repeat what she said, will not flip your legs, okay? It'll add QV to help you in qualifying, okay? Now, if you add something to that, now that doesn't mean, now Kelly gave an example of, let's say, ACE and Slimgenics IQ, all right? We do have a pack for that, so I don't want anybody to understand the difference. There is a pack for both of those products. That's still a starter pack and still all QV. But if you bought them like an ACE starter kit, and then you bought a bottle of something else, that bottle is going to have CV, and that's when you need to pay attention to it. But Kelly, what you said at the very end there, just continue to keep bringing people in. I can promise you that we have leaders on here right now that when they started with Saba, did not have this kind of training, didn't know how to place. Angela's raising her hands, really didn't know what to do, but their business kept growing and growing because they were excited about what they were doing, and it all takes care of itself, like Kelly said. And Kelly, you've got a question here. Can you explain the tree and why some are red and some are green? Some lines are red, some are green.
Yes, absolutely. I can. Before I answer your question, Lori, Angela was raising her hands, and I know I'm picking on her not knowing the things that we talked about tonight when we started, and it was absolutely okay. And one thing that Angela did learn throughout this was it's better to keep your legs even than it is to get so focused on how strong I can make this pay leg, or how just focus on one leg is all I'm ever going to do. It would be better to miss a fast start bonus or $10 in commissions for the week to keep your legs level than it is to try to get paid an extra $10 for the week. So Angela, I see you shaking your head. Would you like to comment on that real quick before I get to Lori's question?
Let me interject one other thing too, Kelly. And I think everybody knows this, but just to be clear, those starter kits, you're not cutting yourself out of pay with starter kits, whether your legs flip or not. I just want for the new people, understand a starter kit, you get paid your fast start no matter what leg they're on. It's only when you start getting reorders and your team really grows. So in the beginning, you're not losing out one dime, whether your legs flip or not. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Absolutely. No,
I just wanted to make sure the new people understood that, right?
Mainly what I'm talking about is your 10% pay side checks. And don't worry about that 10% check so much, because remember those generational matching bonuses that I told you that you're making that's unheard Saba? So maybe you don't make a 10% pay side check this week, but the person that you enrolled made a pay side check this week. Well, you as their enroller is going to get a portion or a benefit from that. So you're still getting paid so many different ways. What is it? Here in Saba means so there's 7 different ways that you can get paid in the compensation plan. So there's so many things to go over. So Angela, we just kept talking when we try to get you to say something.
That's okay. I'm used to that. Some things never change. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
No, seriously. One of the things that I used to get so stressed out about when I first started was I felt like I needed to understand why. And Kelly would tell me, always remember this. Anything that you do, we can undo if you do something wrong within reason. And don't worry about it. You just go recruit. You just go tell everybody that you know how great you're feeling and how wonderful you think Ace is. And everything else will fall into place. And here we are 12 and a half years later, and everything is still falling into place. There are moments when I log into the back office and my legs are literally $1 and a penny apart. $1 and a penny. And one of the things that I have always said is no matter what you do, I don't care what you learn, what you know, what you think you know, what you think you need to know. The only thing you truly need to focus on is anything you do to the left side, try to do it to the right. Because if you do that, you don't have to worry about flipping left, right. And that's why I don't know any of this jargon that you just talked about is like you talking like Charlie Brown's teacher to me. I've never had to understand it. I never wanted to understand it because you taught me a long time ago that if you get your legs as close as possible, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do to one, do to the other. And I know in some situations, as you saw, like Joanne's back office, there is a larger gap. But that's because I structured things to where everybody in my organization only has to build one leg because we're building those other legs. And that was something that I wanted to do to maybe help take away some of this frustration, because if they just had to focus on one leg, then it would be better. But I understand what you meant a minute ago about stacking one leg. So I think she was referring to like trying to stack a leg to hit a promotion or whatever. So that's never a good thing because you may stack it this month and get all of that volume in there to hit that pin level. But then guess what's going to happen? All of that CV is going to cause that leg to flip. And then next month you're in a predicament because you have put everything, all of your business on one leg. And as auto ships happen and things like that, it's harder to catch up. So my best advice is listen to exactly what she says, because here I am almost 13 years later and I'm still doing what she taught me all those years ago. And I still don't know about the compensation plan. And I still don't know about what causes your legs to flip. And it's never mattered.
Yep. That's a good point, Angela. And I see Mark grinning because Mark is the polar opposite of Angela. Mark wanted to know why, and I was going to spend hours with Mark telling him why, because he's just one of those analytical, have to know the details person. And if you're that person, it's okay, but it's still going to drive you crazy. It is best just to go do and learn. So Lori, back to your question about explain the tree, why some are red and some are green. That is because green means you're active and you're looking slow, and red means you're not. So we need to either look or move on if we decided to do something else. So that's simple. Red is no good. Green means go. So that's a super thing. And Lori, I see that you're saying I'm with you, Mark. Lori, I love you, honey, but really go talk to people. Don't worry about the details. It will seriously work itself out. Mark, I love you, but you know what I'm talking about.
I don't sweat that anymore. I understand it. I mean, I remember when I had that epiphany when you were explaining it to me, and it's like it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. And then all of a sudden, boom, it made sense. And it's really, like you said a while ago, it's a complicated, simple thing, and that doesn't make any sense. That's kind of an oxymoron, but it'll get, if you pay attention to your values, like you explained, adding the CV to your current week and doing the adding and then the subtracting, you'll see where the numbers come from. It'll start to make sense and you'll see how simple it really is. And you'll realize that it really doesn't matter because as your team grows, it becomes more and more complicated to control those numbers. In the beginning, when you're fresh and you're new in this, keeping those legs as even as you possibly can is going to be advantageous for you. So I do recommend that you like Angela was saying, what you do to one leg, you do to the other. but it's going to get to the point when your business grows and you get more and more promoters that a lot of that's going to be out of your hands and you can't control that CV from week to week because it's all coming from below you up. But don't sweat it. I mean, if you build your business right in the beginning, it'll pay dividends for you in the end.
Yep.
Good point, Mark. And guys, the best place to be following this training is in your back office, familiarizing yourself with this, focusing on your pin level promotions and your top sales pool, those 2 graphics on your homepage, and then getting to Owensboro on the 13th and the 14th, because then we're going to hear another training there. And you're going to be able, they call it mastermind for a reason. You can discuss these types of things, and somebody can sit down with you with a computer. They can log into your back office and they can explain your specific scenarios to you while you're there. I cannot tell you how valuable that time is. That is so well spent, so well invested in your business. That's time that you're building yourself. You're giving yourself more tools to go out and be able to talk to more people to grow your business. So key things: showing up tonight, sharing your product, and then continuing to show up in Owensboro and before. So thank you for having me. And if people have further questions, just holler at me and I'll be happy to help you work it through it.
Yeah, just get us any questions that you have. And what Kellie showed you tonight, honestly, is just one very small piece of what is available in the tools to your back office. But none of those tools mean nothing, like what Angela was just saying, what Kellie was just saying, if you don't have the business back there to manage it with, right? So that's your key, that's your focus. And that's what each and every one of those tools are designed for, is to help you build your team. So Kellie, I can't thank you enough. I do want to remind everyone, Thursday night, Mark and Angela, 7 p.m., host their presentation call. They talk about ACE, but they also talk about the opportunity and the different ways that you can go out and share Saba and make some extra money or make a lot of extra money. Well, your choice there. And they will, it's a very quick presentation, by the way. I was on last Thursday. I loved it. 10, 15 minutes. And they will answer any questions. But it whets the appetite of those prospects and makes them want to ask more. And we saw that happen last week. So that's Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, thank you so much, Kellie Wilbanks. Can't tell you how much we appreciate this. And you know what I'm really impressed with, guys? Look, here we are, 52 minutes since the call started, and there's still, I think, maybe 1 or 2 people, which were newer people, and I can understand they would get lost, or maybe they had something else planned for the evening, but to still have 99% of the people on this call 52 minutes later, wow, Kellie, that tells me you did an awesome job. Thanks, everybody. Good night, and hope you enjoyed it. We'll post this training as soon as we get it. Good night.